And the Tehachapi Police Station is calling a new place home while they're making the move. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Jackie Parks.
And I'm Todd Carley. When North High students return to school this fall, they will be met with some traffic and safety improvements along China Grade Loop. 23 ABC's Mark Christian joins us now live in Oildale to tell us what is driving the project. Mark?
Well, Todd, North High School is in the middle of their modernization project with many significant improvements happening on campus. However, this phase of the project extends off campus to ensure the safety of students walking to and from school.
Next year, students are going to be like 10 times safer.
They will be safer because of a new traffic signal that's going to be installed at China Grade Loop and Stockton Avenue.
It's dangerous going across the street.
It's a busy pedestrian intersection where students and area residents cross the street throughout the day.
And I think it's a really good idea that the stoplight is coming in because students have a high chance of getting hit and the stoplight really helps cars to stop.
The Kern County Roads Department is currently working on the project that's partly funded through the school's modernization program.
As long as I lived here, it's been a safety concern for me and my girls, and I have a daughter that goes to North.
School officials say the intersection has been an issue for years and has wanted a traffic signal here for quite some time.
I've seen people just slam on their brakes, almost hitting kids.
They say it's critical the improvements are being made.
I almost got hit actually twice.
Right now, there's a pedestrian crossing at the intersection, but students and residents say many people have been hit, along with too many close calls.
I mean, for as many people who've been hit or almost hit, for, all these kids by a school, I'm amazed it hasn't happened yet. I'm actually quite happy it has now, so we shouldn't be seeing that much.
Now, other off-campus improvement projects include street and sidewalk widening with an additional bus loading zone. And all these projects are expected to be completed by the end of summer. Back to you.
All right, Mark, thanks. A lot of people have lost thousands of dollars because of the closing of the Golden State Mall. 23 ABC's Chris Ornelas is at the mall tonight where he spoke to people who had events planned there and have lost all the money they paid in advance. Chris?
Well, Jackie, we spoke to people today who had planned Sweet 16 parties, quinceañeras, even weddings. Now, they all came here today hoping that they might get an explanation and get some of their money back. They were told they wouldn't be getting any sort of a refund, and there was nothing they could do. The mall shut suddenly on Thursday when PG&E cut the power. Now, people who had planned their special day for the event center inside the mall want to know why the woman managing the event center kept accepting cash payments when she knew they were going to close.
She was calling him to tell them, you need to bring in this money because your event is coming up here pretty quick. We're coming like idiots over here, giving her the money, and what happens? Oh, all of a sudden next day this place is shutting down and she have nothing to do and she don't know nothing about it.
It's still not entirely clear what sort of legal recourse that these people have. Now, we did try to get a comment from mall management today, but no one would talk to us. Jackie?
All right, Chris, thanks. Now, there are several things that victims can do in order to try and get their money back. According to the Better Business Bureau, you can file a claim in civil court as a creditor. You can file a civil complaint, contact the district attorney, and, of course, contact the Better Business Bureau and let them know what happened as well. The drought continues to drive up fruit and vegetable prices, and the federal government estimates that prices will go up 6% in the coming months. In their monthly report on the food price outlook, the U.S. Department of Agriculture said the price of fruit and vegetables will continue to rise. In California, farmers produce half of the nation's fruit and vegetables and most of its high-value crops such as broccoli, tomatoes, and artichokes. The report also showed the cost of meat, dairy, fruit, and vegetables will jump.
Thanks, Colin. Earlier this year, we reported about internet cafes shutting down in order to stop gambling activities here in the county. Now, the state's highest court granted a petition to review 2 internet cafe cases for unlawful slot machine-style gambling. The decision from the Supreme Court is not expected to reverse the actions against those cafes, and the DA's office said that decision to review the cases does not invalidate lower court rulings. A November ballot initiative would lower criminal penalties for certain theft and drug crimes here in California after supporters collected the more than 500,000 signatures they needed to get it on the ballot. The measure would make petty theft receiving stolen property, forging or writing bad checks for $950 or less, and certain drug possession offenses, misdemeanors instead of felonies. But the offenses could still be prosecuted as felonies if the suspect is a registered sex offender or has previous convictions for rape, murder, or child molestation. State officials estimate the measure could save hundreds of millions of dollars in jail and prison costs. And a Latino political organization predicts that California Latinos will head to the polls in record numbers this November. That's according to projections from the National Association of Latino Elected and Appointed Officials. They predict more than 2 million Latinos will vote in the midterm election. That's an increase of 17% from 2010.
Well, it's not often that you get a chance to sit and have coffee with a cop, but for some people today, that's exactly what they did. Today was the 3rd annual Coffee with a Cop event at the Sheriff's East Bakersfield substation on Flower Street. That's near Kern Medical Center. Deputies say they're giving residents a chance to get to know them better, share information, and exchange ideas.
Well, this is the first time I've ever been to Coffee with a Cop, and I've had a great experience this morning. Lots of explanation about what you guys are doing and your efforts, and how and where the help could be, how we could get involved and how we could help. So this morning to me has been a complete win.
The event is meant to improve the lives of the community by finding ways the Sheriff's Office and residents can better work together.
Imagine any outreach is a good thing.
Definitely better contact. Well, the Golden Gate Bridge is getting something they've been hoping for decades. We'll tell you what it is and who's also going to help.
And Tehachapi police have a new place they can call home, where they moved and why that place has meaning. Coming up. A $76 million package for safety nets that would prevent people from jumping to their deaths at the Golden Gate Bridge was approved today by bridge officials. Federal money will provide the bulk of the remaining funding, though the state is also pledging $7 million. Officials have been discussing a suicide barrier on that bridge for decades. More than 1,400 people have jumped to their deaths since the bridge opened in 1937. The father of the young man who killed 6 people and injured 13 others near UC Santa Barbara last month says it is his duty to prevent future mass killings. In a letter provided to ABC today, Peter Rogers says he wants to help people recognize warning signs of mental illness within families. He said his son Elliot hid his sickness from his family, and also psychiatrists and police. The father says in hindsight, he is beginning to understand there are traits that family members can look out for in loved ones. Peter Rogers sits down with Barbara Walters, who is coming back from retirement after just 3 weeks, on a special edition of 2020 Tonight, right here on 23 ABC.
Tehachapi police on the move. Why that means the closure of one chapter and the beginning of a new one for the police force. 3, 2, 1. And small rockets could help launch big futures. The Tehachapi Police Department has a new place to call home, and 23 ABC's Amanda Gomez shows us how it's the end of one chapter and the start of another.
We've been waiting for years to get our officers out of a very cramped set of quarters downtown.
Now, Tehachapi's police officers will be moving into a station that is anything but cramped. In fact, this room alone is the size of the entire station downtown.
This is a first-class building, and it's just a product of a lot of work and effort for bringing something to the community. Plus, it's a reuse of a building that's been sitting dormant for a number of years.
Today was a day to celebrate the grand opening of the station. But along with a new station, the city is also getting a new police chief.
Very excited. I've got a brand new facility here that we've moved into. I've got a great group of guys and gals that work for me. I've got a great mayor, city manager, a city council.
Kent Krager will officially take over for Chief Jeff Kermode on Tuesday.
It's a dream come true. I'm from Tehachapi. I live here. I've lived here since 2000, and I'm very passionate about what I do.
It's a bittersweet goodbye for Chief Kermode.
I've spent 35 years in law enforcement with 3 different departments, but this job has meant the most, I think, because it's so personal.
Yet it's time for the soon-to-be Chief Krager to leave his mark on the department.
My main focus as a law enforcement professional is always going to be crime reduction and quality of life issues, and that's what we're going to focus on as an agency, is reducing crime in this area and responding to the needs of the community. Amanda
Gomez, 23 ABC.
And if you would like to tour the station, you'll have another chance to do that tomorrow from 9 a.m. until noon. Cal State Bakersfield has brought math and science to new heights for young kids around the county. Today marked the last day of Blast Science Camp, and to celebrate, several of the kids' projects were launched high in the air.
This really gives them a head start for their futures. If you talk to them, you'll see how excited they are for everything that's going on today. Like that giant rocket that just launched.
The camp, which focuses on science, technology, engineering, and math, or STEM camp, invited more than 400 kids from the Lamont School District to participate in a 3-week event leading up to this final project, which took place earlier today. The kids spent the past few weeks building small rockets they got to blast into the air earlier today on their last day of camp.
We do things like this, it all comes back to the engineering design process. They do math assignments that, they look at an altimeter to see how high it went, and various projects like that to tie in the curriculum with these fun projects.
Organizers say this not only gives young students a chance to expand their math and science knowledge, but also lets them get the feel of a college campus and maybe spark a math and science interest in their future endeavors.
Endeavors that could land them at NASA, which is, by the way, showing off its new ride to space. It's called Orion. Crews at the Kennedy Space Center are putting the final touches on the Orion, the next generation spaceship that is expected to travel where no humans have ever gone before, with missions into deep space, Mars, and beyond. The first test flight is set for December, but astronauts will not be allowed on that trip. They're going to have to wait until 2017.
That's that constellation?
Now, you'd never know my dad worked for NASA. And I've had
he didn't pass it down.
a lifelong fascination with space travel.
Absolutely.
For me to call the
Orion.
Orion. I'm not even going to say what I said. We're just going to correct it.
It's just Orion.
Move on.
Okay.
Orion.
All right.
Right. I'm saying that all night to myself.
Well, staring at the sky.
As I should be.
All right. Well, Bakersfield has found itself at the top of a new list, and it's not the kind of news car owners want to hear. Bakersfield is the top metro area in the entire country when it comes to car theft. So reports the National Insurance Crime Bureau. However, our metro area also includes the rest of the entire county. Coming in second was Fresno, trailed by Modesto, the San Francisco Bay Area, and Stockton. In fact, 9 of the 10 metro areas with the highest automobile theft rates were right here in California.
The first 2 human infections with West Nile virus this season were reported recently in our state, and that's why mosquito control members were at the Capitol to inform us about the deadly virus and how to fight the bite. With the state being in its driest year on record, you may think the lack of water would mean less mosquitoes, but members of mosquito infection control say they prefer dried up puddles with little water movement. Mosquito bites happen most often during the 2 hours after the sun sets. The organization suggests that people wear long sleeves and pants when going outside at dawn or dusk.
Local TV and radio personalities are stepping out of the cameras and into the crowds, all for a good cause. We'll tell you why they'll be jamming out this weekend.
Here's what we're working on for 23 ABC News at 11, giving hope to kids who have been through it all.
The experiences that the kids have here,
every memory has been a good one. I haven't had one single bad one.
Really do make a difference in their lives.
Tonight I'll take you to a special camp miles away from Bakersfield where dozens of volunteers give up a week of their time to show 50 kids the time of their life. The difficult hand they've been dealt and how these kids are rising above their circumstances. The heartwarming story when we see it tonight at 11.
Well, this weekend, local TV and radio personalities will leave their comfort zones to help local residents who are battling cancer. 23 ABC's Leslie Marine has more on how the Media Music Jam is making a difference in the lives of those battling the deadly disease.
Fatigue, soreness. I just had an Neupogen shot a couple days ago, and my bones feel like so weak and sore.
It's a fight 25-year-old Brandon Gonzalez never thought he'd have to fight.
Everything changed like that. and it's been a roller coaster since.
In 2012, Gonzalez was diagnosed with testicular cancer.
The first time they gave me surgery, the second time they gave me another surgery, and going through the chemo after that, and then going through stem cells, it was rough.
Just weeks out of a stem cell transplant, Gonzalez knows his procedures wouldn't be possible without a little singing. And this weekend, with every set of songs, local media is hoping to keep the financial burden off of people like Gonzalez.
One of the special things about the Kern County Cancer Fund was that all the money stayed here in Kern County. All of it did.
So they can worry about their fight more than their finances.
Just make it so much easier, like on the stress without having to worry about the bills, you know, like they help out a lot. They're a big help.
Media Jam tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, Crystal Palace. You can go help out.
Sweet. Very good cause. All right, I'll see you back here tonight at 11.
Yeah.